was great. I've never expected myself to tear up, in movies, and this one really got me. My first question for you is, what was the most important thing that you wanted this film to show, and what things did you feel needed a lot more emphasis on from the original story?
Yeah, so it's based on a memoir. And I mean, honestly, I really care what the audience thinks, but my first audience is the actors, and in this case, the guy who wrote the memoir. So it's a memoir by Matt Loveland, who's from Minnesota, who actually went through this thing, this sort of tragic thing, but of how his wife died the day after having their first kid, and he ended up having to take care of this baby and then bring up his daughter. But there's actual humor in the memoir, and so the first thing for me was I wanted this movie to be funny because I feel like that's how people deal with stress. That's how I deal with stress. Yeah. And so one of the great moments for me was Matt looking at one of the, in the first minute of the movie, I needed to make sure there was stuff that you could laugh at as well as stuff that you knew was going to be serious. Yeah. So there's this scene where after the funeral that Kevin's friends Lil Rel and Anthony Carrigan are inappropriately trying to shake him out of it and help him, like talking about camp and how he got blisters at camp and the girl he had a crush on ran away screaming. Yeah. And this is not something that's going to help him on a deep level with his grief. But when the real Matt Loveland saw that, he said, that reminds me so much of my friends. He said they were complete idiots around this thing. They didn't know what to say, but it made me feel normal because like that's something that hadn't changed. Yeah. So the first thing for me was to make sure that Matt thought that it was okay. And then in terms of everything else, I worked with Kevin really closely on the script. And in terms of like both Kevin, Lil Rel, Alfre Woodard, everybody on set had, and when I work with people, that's what I try to do, has ownership over their character. They can come up with stuff. I want them to tell me something's fake. So that is the second thing, was to make sure that Kevin and everybody believed in what they were doing. And also then to try to keep light on its feet, because with something like this where it's emotional, but it's also funny, you have to make sure that you don't go down a rabbit hole either way.
Yes. Now, this was Kevin's first, adventure into the more dramatic role. Did it seem like that on set, or did he seem like a natural and like second nature for him?
It seemed like second nature to him. Look, I'd seen all of Kevin's comedy. I'd also seen The Upside, and I thought it was terrific in The Upside. And I'd also read his autobiography. So his autobiography, he's talking about really jarring things, but he's really funny. So I knew that's how his mind was working already. And no, I think he trusted me, and I 100% trusted him. So no, it was quite natural. But also, I tell you the trick though, he's working with Alfre Woodard, who's kind of a deep method actor, who's doing like intense stuff before the take and doesn't want to you don't want to disturb her while she's preparing for the take. And in the same scene, he's working with Melody Hurd, who's like dancing around, like doing stuff, trying out a new dance move, and then going into a really emotional thing. So actually, he had to be like a point guard, kind of distributing the ball to these different actors.
Definitely. Now, other than Matt's character, which other characters do you feel really needed to have a strong presence in the film to help, portray the hardships that he went through?
Yeah, well, Alfre Woodard's character, Alfre Woodard plays Matt's mother-in-law. And in real life, I think that the real Matt didn't have that so contentious a relationship with his mother-in-law. At least he said he didn't. But out of love for this kid, Alfre Woodard's character says, you have to move back home because I need to help you take care of this kid. Matt doesn't want to move back home. He's got his life there, he's got his job, etc., and he feels like he can do it on his own. So there's a natural conflict between them, and I needed a really formidable adversary, and Alfre was amazing in the movie. And I asked Matt Loveland, the real Matt Loveland, to ask his mother-in-law. He asked his mother-in-law if she was okay, having that relationship on screen, having some more conflict than there's, and she gave the okay. So, and she just saw it apparently.
That's good.